gotta say. We got to see the
Yeah.
Predator in full force. And, well, we saw Drunken Master, we saw Predator. In both these matches, LEFU has played it a little bit more cautious with their picks. This one very strong sound lineups. I can't hate on them for that. A very good job. What will Game 3 bring for us, though?
Well, let's take a look because we are already in game number 3 as far as the picking stage has commenced here. So we got BLZN, of course, taking on LEFU. This is it, our final match here for the day. Going to be coming at you here in what is the best of the 3, of course. So game number 3, it is the final game. You do the simple math, it all adds up. So, of course, this is the round of 64. Again, the winner of this moves on to the round of 32. They'll play again tomorrow morning, or tomorrow, the earlier match, I should say. Of course, if you lose this, unfortunately, your tournament ride for the DreamHack Summer Qualifiers is done, as it is single elimination still at this point. So a lot, most certainly, on the line. You see YOLO Ludwig right there making a point that it is a 100% Legion win here in the series. So obviously 2-0, not the biggest sample size.
No, it's good enough. It's science.
It's keeping them. It's science. It's getting them motivated, whatever it takes. Keeper of the Forest, Ophelia, apparently liked to be blind banded here by both of these teams. So only 2 blind bans as a result of the blind ban stage. Not often we see that coming out, but Keeper and Ophelia receiving that. The lock pool coming out right here. We have Tempest, Rally, Pebbles, Bubbles, and Wretched Hag, then Fade to finish things off. So into the band.
It's very interesting because actually we saw Keeper of the Force and Ophelia both being banned out in the previous game, but Tempest had skated on by.
Yeah.
At this point, I kind of like what I'm seeing in that, okay, Rally is in that lock pool. Very obviously a premier hero pick. But meanwhile, there is a Tempest, so if they want to go for that Rally, they're going to be going at a trade.
Yeah. You see, getting into that banning stage here. We do have the Jeremiah to kick things off from Faddis here. You got to wonder, is maybe that Predator on their mind? I wonder if even the possibility of seeing a Predator ban here could come out as a reaction, really. You know, it's obviously could be a comfort hero for BLZN, especially after pulling through with a victory for them. So
look at that first ban now that their second pick and that Rally is in the lock pool. Look what happened there, man.
Yeah.
Right away, not even thinking about it, taking out that Master of Arms. So, as we said before, they did learn their lesson.
Most certainly did. So, you know, today's definitely been an interesting day as expected. We've done our best to make it as entertaining as possible. And actually, there you go, answers my question right there. Predator is sure enough banned by Faddis, so, you know, kind of respecting that there. But earlier rounds, you know, it's definitely you never know what you're going to get, to say the least. And, you know, earlier on, we definitely had our run-of-the-mill of, one game we had a rage quitter, and another game, you know, kind of jumped halfway through and had some pauses and whatnot. But this series has most certainly been a nice surprise here for the round of 64. And definitely shout out to both of these teams, LEFU and BLZN, for not only providing us with some entertaining games, but some solid play as well, honestly, from both of these teams. So definitely
as we mentioned before, these teams aren't teams you can just write off before. They pretty much appeared that they rank solidly in the gold division in a standard Hontor cycle, and only increasing in skills. Hopefully they'll heap together and work on it from there. So, yeah, I'm impressed with what I'm seeing, though.
Continuing on with the banning stage here, Jeremiah, Master of Arms, Predator, and Parasite so far. The 4 bans. There's the Wild Soul ban coming out from LEFU. I keep wanting to say Online Kingdom every time I see that tag. It's just been so
Same.
long.
I'm always like, if I look at his name and I'm like,
are they back?
LEFU.
Honey?
Because no one's actually rocking a LEFU tag. You know, it's they're all doing their own thing. Team BLZN making it easy over there on the Hellborn.
I like that. I've stated in the past that that's a pet peeve of mine, man. When teams just they don't tag up. I mean, come on, guys.
What about when your tag's not available?
To make something. I mean, I don't know. Just do something.
Okay.
Just you know, where's the team atmosphere, man? Back in my day, when I played competitive esports.
Oh, what was it? The CPK?
You tagged up because it was pride, man. All about the pride.
Okay.
Moon Queen going to be the final, or the first pick here, I should say, as Demented Shaman was the final man, but Moon Queen coming out.
Well, there's definitely a strong array of different supports and follow-ups they can go from here. Leaving up Engineer, though, is compromising their laning a little bit. Engineer, home to some of the strongest dual lanes available in Heroes of New Earth. Yeah, a little bit curious to see how they're going to follow up here now that they have the Moon Queen. I think you need to surround her. You have to be able to give her farm right now. I don't like the idea of putting her in a solo situation anymore whatsoever. So who are they going to choose to actually support her at this point? Aluna is in the board. They already have Engineer, so looking to pick up I'm taking a look. Deadwood's on the board, but he hasn't been drafted as much in any of these series. He's sort of been ignored, and with something like Pebbles and Rally both in the lock pool, I think they'll be skipping over, and Faye, I think they're skipping over a hero pick like that. So
we'll see. You see the second pick here for BLZN, definitely putting some thought into this one. Engineer was more of a certainty, but Rifle here. Think about it. There's a Torture.
I like it. I like it.
Unfortunately, Salomon is not available yet in tournament rules. But yeah, you like the Torture pickup here? Always
definitely,
a good pickup.
definitely. It's the versatile pick once again. Can't go wrong with having more magical sustained damage for your team, tons of utility. It doesn't give away too much if they want to run dual lanes. They still have that option. If they don't get Tempest, if they do get Tempest, they can play it as they need.
Yeah. C-Stars was kind of joking right there. They were kind of having some fun about the idea of trying to have a game 3 just for the sake of the viewers and everything. But I think it's safe to say that that game was just a very well played game at both teams. That just BLZN ultimately was the better team, deserving of the victory there. So, but definitely just having fun with the situation. So Moon Queen into the Engineer Torturer. And again, a good amount of extra time being used right here. There's that Deadwood Cyrus.
I was going to say a Luna is what I'm expecting. Just opting for a little bit more lockdown instead, and maybe laning. See, I think a Luna would have been just fine here. I like seeing that extra burst, especially when you're not facing off against a Master of Arms or an Ophelia that can provide that counter heal. I like that additional burst when you're looking at a hero like Deadwood.
Yeah. Yeah, the Deadwood, the Glacius. So, a Luna, again, with that said, still left on the board, but you look at BLZN over here, already with the Engineer and Torture.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not as likely, although still possible. Still very possible, actually.
For who?
For BLZN.
To pick?
Luna, even.
A Luna. Yeah, not really. There you have to pick up okay. Nomad being picked up. Interesting.
Huh.
Interesting. So,
what did he
Nomad,
get
what's up?
What did he get changed?
Nothing.
In match? Did he not?
He actually got nerfed slightly. I'm not going to say nothing. I mean nothing in the sense that he had his cooldowns nerfed slightly. 10 seconds, I think, per level on his ultimate, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, 'cause I was going to say, I remember something.
Yeah, I think it goes from, at level 3, I think it's 40 seconds now instead of 30 seconds for the edge counter. I mean, usually it's one major team fight that you use it to make it a little bit less sloppy and play with it.
Yeah, Conan increased, okay.
Yep, picking up the Tempest from here.
There you go.
First pick, it's something that they should be looking to pick up a rally at this point.
That is a scary team there on the Legion side. Well, scary team on both sides, really, but
they could go with another solo here. I think that Bubbles would not be a problem, especially for lockdown with that Nomad. Whenever you have a really hard carry like that, I like to see lockdown.
We'll see what Rifle decides. 20 seconds left of extra time, so has all that time to decide which of those 4 heroes do they ultimately feel comfortable going with. You like the Bubbles? Will Rifle agree? Yes. There you go. Bubbles going to be the final pick over there for BLZN. Now LEFU as their choice. Again, you see the team that they've already been able to put together. Wretched Hag seems like, unless they want to... No, that wouldn't make sense. I would think Wretched Hag here.
Hope you have Red Raja or else the friendship's over. That is a cool Nomad skin. Not sure what Gambler's going to go with. As far as the last pick here is concerned, you're already looking at something like what I would imagine to be that Jungle Tempest, the Tempest Glacius, the thing. At this point, the problem is, okay, yeah, they can run that Deadwood Soul. They have Wretched Hag in that Suicide place, and then you're looking at a Moon Queen safe, a Deadwood mid, and a Glacius wherever he feels like he needs to be at that point in time. He can sort of roam in between with that Glacius and Deadwood providing additional support, but...
Yeah.
There's a lot of vulnerability in the lane setups here, a lot of weak matchups across the board. So Tempest, I would like to see him get active with this, either the dual lane or the Deadwood Glacius mid. Otherwise, give the Deadwood his levels and babysit that Moon Queen, because in that 1v1 matchup, Bubbles will do just fine. I just talked about it earlier, that Bubbles versus Moon Queen matchup, and how it actually isn't that bad for a Bubbles anymore.
Yeah. See if I'll start things off here, but ooh, Moon Queen, the Blood Moon Queen here coming out. Prometheus, this is Dog playing the Moon Queen. As far as the Nomad skin, he does actually go that skin that was suggested, the Red Raja skin. Yeah, as always, interested to see how the lane phase takes part here. Obviously, going to sit in a pause for hopefully not too long, and before we get to actually see what happens in the anticipation just have to be brewing a little bit longer. I'm sure by now I actually forgot myself to check the brackets to see how other matches may have come along, but I would assume that this is one of the matches still happening here in the round of 64. So, but you can definitely check out the brackets for yourself if you go to HonTour.com. You go to the events tab and click under the DreamHack Summer event and the brackets, of course. And you can see all 128 teams from the round of 128 we started earlier today. And eventually, at the end of the day, will be 32 teams left. And, you know, so especially it's definitely awesome that we've had a finish like we have here, even no matter what happens in this game 3. But tomorrow is really where it does start to get a little more interesting, it's safe to say.
Yeah, so far, no items picked up by Torture yet. I'll be looking to see if he buys Reward, something to block additional camps here against his Tempest. I talked about how I think the laning is a little bit in favor, especially given the fact that they have strong dual lanes in favor of BLZN early on. But Tempest is sort of the X factor in that, where if he hits a quick level 3, level 4, finds an opportunity to gank for his Glacius Deadwood, or even that Moon Queen lane on the side, he can definitely tip the scales. Mid lane is the easiest one to have access to, of course. Usually your off lane not really going to kill that bubble, so they are moving forward into the enemy woods. No rev wards purchased, so Tempest should pretty much have unmitigated control of his woods.
All right, so Engineer, Rally, Bubbles, and Torture all coming down here. You mentioned Torture and the items he chose to go here. Not going the rev ward, so we'll see if, hopefully for YOLO Ludwig's sake, playing the Tempest, you will be fine. Oh, some possible initiation here. Rally does connect on a Deadwood right there. The Kexon connects as well. It does push him forward. However, we have a big battle going on right here. Rally, Capel is down. Obviously not enough mana on top of the cooldown, but Deadwood will be forced to fall back once again. Bubbles does have the Shell Serve, but not going to follow through. So in the end, it ends up being a skirmish that results in no bloodshed as far as kills. Wretched Hag and Nomad were up here at the top lane in the meantime. Wretched Hag placing these warded sites. Very dangerous warded site locations, simply because one rev ward can actually counter both of those. So you just need to be a little bit careful about that. But it was not spotted, I don't believe, so possible it won't be countered.
Ooh, I like what they're doing here, actually, with this aggressive try, given the fact that they're going up against the Tempest, going to be able to sort of push him out of his woods with this aggressive try if they so choose. Very powerful roaming combination coming out there. Triple stun, and Glacius has to be careful, might be cut out of position here. Is able to get the scout, so not really having to worry too much yet. But yeah, knowing that they're going up against a Moon Queen, applying this aggressive tri lane, and even if it was like say a Glacius Deadwood lane middle against the Bubbles, Bubbles is honestly amazing against these dual lanes in mid, and they're not even going for them in the first place.
Yeah.
So I actually like the adaptation they made.
Yeah, and again, they made the comment last game for BLZN how they had the Aluna Wretched Hag top lane initially, and at least the idea to kind of give Hag somewhat of a laning presence early on in the game. So BLZN not afraid to kind of go a little unique early on, and that definitely can pay off in the long run. So as you mentioned, definitely good to see. Moon Queen able to use that Moonbeam though to even snap out a last hit on the creep right there. Obviously though, especially with that nerf to her in this case, I mean, it is going to hurt somewhat as far as the mana cost.
He's actually going to fall early.
Wow, yeah. I didn't even catch that.
Yeah, no, I did. Basically, Bubbles was caught out there. He was playing safe. I thought it was a little bit silly for him to be trading Harass with the Glacius in the first place, given the fact that he only has Light Stones.
Yeah. And
he went for the Ring of Teacher. Obviously, they adapted and chose. They didn't initially plan on Bubbles going mid. That was sort of an adaptation they made. But he only had Blightstone, so when he traded Harass with the Glacius, he wasn't able to burst up and heal to full, even though he was sort of brought down to half or third life. So he was already low, was in the lane. Deadwood landed a root, and from there on out, Glacius found the angle to get a freeze, and even though he managed to port away with that Shell Serve, just enough damage was applied.
That's a pretty big deal. I mean, a skill for not only Legion team, but Glacius.
On a hero that you really shouldn't see fall at all.
Yeah. Oh, true, yeah. The Bubbles being the one killed, yeah. So, a beautiful start for LEFU. With that said, although Deadwood didn't get the kill, of course, even the assist killed. Plenty for him. And now this does open up where Glacius is kind of starting to move around now, in a sense, even protecting this Tempest. Moon Queen! Oh, Moon Queen is in some trouble here. She gets caught in, but actually Torture uses the chain reactions, clears out all the trees, and kind of even it helps her get away right there. So, I was kind of curious about that. Maybe I figured she would have waited a little bit for either Rally or Engineer to come down there, but in the end, I mean, it at least applies some good harassment and gets Moon Queen to fall back in the lane. Not necessarily getting the kill, though, but again, not expecting Moon Queen to really be able to do too much here. What is a very aggressive trailing setup from BLZN at the bottom lane.
And at this point, you see Moon Queen is stuck at 83 gold per minute, sitting at only 1 creep kill. So definitely accomplishing their goal of getting the Moon Queen down. But at a large cost, due to the fact that Bubbles was able to be affected so much by this Roman Glacius, Deadwood is going to be absolutely uncontested here in this middle lane. Now with the double damage rune on top of everything, it's going to be a problem. This guy's pretty much guaranteed a very, very sound start.
Yeah. Then there's the top lane, Nomad versus Wretched Hag, Rust for Life versus Pork Chop. Of course, Pork Chop coming off the great performance on Predator last game. Playing the Nomad this time around. So far, you look at the creep battle here, 19 and 17, 20 and 17 Nomad against a 14 and 2 Wretched Hag. Nomad doing a lot of work up here at the top lane. That surprised you a little bit, Emperor. No.
Not really. I think Nomad's fine. He can CS very effectively in the solo lane. Still, he's not necessarily crushing the Wretched Hag, which, you know, there's a lot of matchups that you can throw against in a 1v1 that'll absolutely crush their opposition. So the fact that Wretched Hag is sort of holding sort of even with this Nomad is actually in her favor, winning the harass war too by spamming that haunt.
Bubbles just made a big mistake right there. He will be fine in the end, but he panicked shell surfed, double tapped right there, and it nearly cost him his life. He got caught by the wrong grasp again, and it almost killed him. So at least he was hopefully able to get away, but Deadwood with that double damage rune thought he had another kill, I'm sure, especially after seeing that. But Bubbles does survive.
Rally had his boots there, and Moon Queen was caught a little bit out. I mean, I thought if he kept moving forward, he would have been able to find Ningle, and with that Engineer potentially set up a kill, just choosing not to go for it instead. Moon Queen is alone down here, and they do have vision of the Glacius in the mid lane, so figure she's screwed on the farm anyways, would rather keep lane control for a little bit and not want to push anything too far.
Yeah. Nice job by Wretched Hag here at the top lane. She actually blinked into the jungle rather than back into the lane. That's where Torturer and Nomad were expecting her to blink, and instead, because she blinked into the jungle, she was able to easily survive, and actually has a refreshment rune that she could pick up, I'm guessing. Oh no, she's going to leave it for Deadwood, it looks like, to eventually pick up himself and be able to use with those 2 bottle charges. So, but yeah, good getaway coming out from Wretched Hag, and keeps his Legion team up 1-0 in hero kills here. As it is a 1-to-1 series, of course, this being Game 3, the final game, after all, obviously. So.
Right, Tempest not really showing many signs of being slowed down either, sitting at 270 gold per minute at this point. Already has his Ring of Sorcery, or he's about to hit level 6. Rally's catching him off guard here, though.
It's a curse, man. Tempest does get caught out. He does have an elemental void, but without any team support, wouldn't really use it right here. He's on the run. Rally chasing. Has Compel up in 5 seconds. Tempest, there's a Tempest ultimate, but again, there is no support. He's just delaying the inevitable, if anything, and he will eventually fall. It's almost as if he was just really hoping. Now, it does buy time for the support to come on over. You see Engineer on the run. Rally is going to homecoming someone away. Okay, they might get a kill on Engineer, it looks like. And so maybe that's where it was worth it, but I don't know still for Tempest. Still a good roam overall for BLZN, and I'm talking about as if he's already dead. I mean, he basically is.
It was fine. They had everyone sort of surround him there
Yeah.
in order to make it happen. So in the mid lane, during all that, it gives Bubbles a little bit of a chance here to play catch up. On top of that, I mean, they got not only they killed the Tempest, they got him to use his elemental void at that point. So, you know, part of the threat is as soon as you see Tempest at level 6, you're like, oh shit, I gotta watch out. He's gonna try to set up a gank. They're gonna push my tower. Now they know it's down. Now they know they have a few-minute window where they can, you know, play a little bit more aggressive.
Shorter coming in with his little red booties here, but Wretched Hag going to be able to walk away before anything too much happens. Nomad, though, really showing off his farm. 345 gold per minute. He's going to the side shop right here. He's going to pick up his own boots, as he already has his life tube picked up early on. So, great start for him once again. You see the water sight in the middle lane placed down by Rifle here. Against Deadwood, getting him some good vision in terms of any support coming in. And speaking of that, you see the Glacius kind of roaming on by. So Bubbles at least has that information. The bottom lane, how's Moon Queen been managing? Not too well. That's kind of expected. Only 7-0, and she is still level 5. So definitely a mission accomplished down there, at least for early on for our Hellborn team. Rally! Ooh, he misses a compel. If he hit that, he's going to go with the seismic slam follow-up. I don't know if it would have been a kill, but it would have been pretty damn close if that.
No, it should have been a kill for sure.
Okay.
Moonbeam's only sitting at 550 health. Has a fair amount of armor. I feel like the compel plus an auto attack plus the seismic slam definitely would have been enough.
Misses it though, and instead Moon Queen able to survive here, and
yeah,
gonna at least soak up a little bit of experience as well as steal a creep kill there with their Moonbeam.
Well, she was kind of edging him out. You know, she has that move speed 370, a little bit faster than Rally, and is sort of keeping on the outside of his compel range. So he's doing a nice job dancing back and forth there. Good positioning across the board. Engineer tried to rotate.
Yeah.
Really not accomplishing too much down there.
In fact, might put himself in a dangerous spot. Yeah, he is going to run away in time, but now Rally's the one in some trouble. Invisible Deadwood. Doesn't get much scarier than this. Not really. Deadwood candy land the rock grass question. There's a Falcon push to open the rock grass after, but he easily compels away just before. So, oops. Maybe a little early there.
Yeah, I mean, you got to realize if you're going to punch him, you cannot go with the rotten grass immediately afterwards. He is going to compel away every single time. If anything, maybe juke him, maybe cast it a little bit behind where you think he's going to compel to.
Yeah.
I think he was hoping that there'd be a follow-up stun. Who was it? The Moonbeam.
Oh, yeah.
The Moonbeam well timed. I think that's what he was going for. I'm not sure why Moonbeam wasn't in position to use that.
Yeah.
If anything, she had the Invisible Deadwood coming up. I actually placed that fault more on the Moon Queen for not moving up in time. She had the boots. There's no way Rally should have gotten far enough away there that with her long-range Moonbeam and the Deadwood Punch, she was able to get it off. So actually, I do place that fault on Yeslis's dog. I'm not sure how the communication went for his team, though, so I can't do it entirely.
Yeah. Just pick up a homecoming stun right there, but yeah, you're right. Either from him or Tempest coming off from the side. The follow-up stun just was not there, so not able to assist with what should have been a kill, you could even argue. So missed opportunity definitely coming out there for the Legion team. As in the meantime, Deadwood, though, back to the middle lane. He has his Ghost Marchers finished. It is level 7 now, so still looking good despite missing out on that kill opportunity. You do have Nomad, though, finishing that Helm of the Black Legion, and on his way to now picking up the Ghost March is going to charge Wretched Hag right here and get it to blink away back to the bottom lane. Rally again. There's our Tempest Ultimate pulling him in this time. He's in a lot of trouble. The Moon Finale coming out. There are some creeps there to soak up the damage. I don't know if it's going to be enough, though. No, it will not. And Moon Queen actually gets credit for the kill in the end. So they do go a second round without Deadwood this time, but it does pay off. As they get
only one Moonbeam hitting both hit counter, 2 ultimates used, Rally easily being cleaned up. And yeah, Ghost Marchers here on Deadwood. I mean, it was a popular build in the past. I think people have been leaning towards the Steam Boots a little bit more lately. It provides you a little bit more auto attack damage with your combo, which you can get it off with your portal key, so you have a little bit additional burst. On top of the fact that, well, when you're getting initiated with team fights in general, the combination of Steam Boots vestments is so powerful. So I don't think I prefer to see that Ghost Marchers route. In general, I think I'd rather see the Steam Boots. But I mean, he's farming very well. It's if it's a personal preference, that's up to him at that point.
Speaking of Deadwood, coming down here to the bottom lane, I should say. You saw Raleigh actually poured in. We have a 4 versus 4 brewing down here at the bottom lane. Make that a 5 versus 4. So some bottom wars action going to be coming out. Deadwood off to the side. Rally also going over here, though. We have a battle at the outpost. There's a Falcon Punch from Rongrass. Again, the same situation. The follow-up stun not there. And he easily compels away in time. Kelvin hitting 3 points. The big glacial downpour. Actually, a lot of damage in the background. Will eventually fall. Bubble's already dead, though. Nomad to the bottom of the edge counter. Not going to go off, though. Torturer falls in the background. Nomad going back in. Wants some blood. The Sandstorm doing some work. But he will fall back in the end. Man, the glacial downpour. That actually did a good amount of damage in the background.
Yeah, it was a huge play by Starzords over there, man. Really set the pacing of that fight for his team. Deadwood, man, he's got to be getting frustrated. He's like, someone stun him, just do the 1 second stun, please. He got his punch off at least, though. Did force them to retreat. Did force Rally to use that compel defensively. And if he doesn't have that compel to actually get in there, that means his ultimate's not coming off. So, in a sense, he did still accomplish a lot by choosing to ulti that the Rally, even without the follow-up.
True, yeah. He's had something come out of that, unlike the previous circumstance. So, but the long story here, despite a 1 fight there for the Legion side with the 2-for-1 exchange, we got BLZN. They're going to come back with full force, and they're going to push this bottom tower. And I'm pretty sure they're going to get it with ease. I don't see LEFU even remotely defending this. They are trying to counter push in the meantime in the middle lane. You do see Raleigh already pointing to the secondary tower. Flank coming out from Nomad. LEFU needs to be careful. Rotten Grasp going to miss right there on a rally, trying to juke and jive. The support is coming over. They're not able to TP, it looks like. There we go. Rally jumps in, though. Nomad as well, but Wretched Ag going to blink away before too much happens. So the tower will stay alive in the end, as BLZN does get there in time to defend. While this is going on, Glacius doing some free farming at the top lane. Finishing his Strutters, actually.
Okay, so at this point, I would like to see the Moon Queen just focus on getting her farm up. She's moving right away to the bottom lane. They have a defensive ward in the lane here on bottom, so protecting her while she farms, definitely a good thing. Nothing in the river yet. I would like to see a ward rotation placed by LEFU. Some are maybe covering the bottom river entrance, but outside of that, doing a great job there. And otherwise, yeah, give her room to farm. Let Deadwood get his portal. You're sitting fine. You're sitting fine.
Yeah. Tempest going to port out before he gets too much pressure here at the top lane. He actually ports, looks like, to the middle lane, so maybe going to try to push this middle tower. Again, it is fairly low, about 500 life or so. Moon Queen does pick up her Helm of the Victim, so Whispering Helm definitely on the way. This tower is very low as well, but I think, again, I'm not exactly sure, but Invulnerability might be up, and, well, even if it is, it doesn't matter. Rally already ports in. Moon Queen will have to retreat, but this could set up a free tower kill middle lane. Bubbles is here, couldn't go for the deny. Not going to pull it off, though. Too much of a risk to get positioning. And Bubbles decides it's for the best to not go for the attempt. So a free tower kill for the Legion side. Rotten Grasp nearly hitting Bubbles, but is able to sidestep it and surviving as a result. Top tower going to be counter pushed by Nomad and Torturer here in the meantime. Nomad has 430 gold per minute. He really is starting to jump up there when it comes to his GPM. He needs to be careful. No, I'm going to fall back as vulnerability comes out.
What does he actually have flying out to him right here?
Warhammer.
Going for the Warhammer, so.
A Shieldbreaker?
Nah, with Warhammer, he's going for the Shieldbreaker for sure. He needs that snowball effect, and it's the kind of thing where if you drop one hero with Nomad, that's where the snowball effect happens in teamfight because it resets your Mirage Strike ability or your True Strike, whatever one you're choosing to use, and that's where you see sort of the. Yeah, I mean, much like how you see Bubbles, that whack-a-mole effect, where it's like, oh, one, onto the next, onto the next, onto the next.
Like
and that's kind of, yeah, exactly. That's the momentum you kind of want to see coming out of a Nomad. So I like what he's doing with the Shieldbreaker. It's going to make him active a lot earlier.
You got Glacius, Deadwood, and Tempest all setting up here. Oh, Nomad just avoiding the Rotten Grasp. I mean, even so, he does have the Sandstorm, he does have the edge counter, so you got to be careful in those cases. So might have still been fine in the end, but avoids the initial stun, and back to farm he goes, but yeah, his damage output is scary already, especially with the Shieldbreaker on top of that when you figure. The Portal Key on Deadwood, by the way, I believe he just got that, so he does have that to use now. But
and Rally, he's actually here in the enemy woods, doesn't know that he's about to run into Wretched Hag here, camping out. Does catch her off guard, but the ultimate's not going to be enough for the kill here, Breaking. Now he's in a horrible spot.
There's the Moon finale, and Rally is in a horrible spot indeed. Auto attacks coming out, trying to juke and dive with the Woods. Has support coming over. Not going to be nearly in time, though. Rally will eventually fall, and that's just the case. I thought he had an opportunity, ended up not. Oh, big elemental one at the top lane. In comes the Glacial Downpour on top of the Falcon Punch. Nomad will fall, and Torturer goes in as well. LEFU gets 3 really big kills right there in a matter of 10 seconds or so.
2 pickoffs there. The Nomad dying in the midst of it all. The Moon Queen getting a kill here on the bottom lane. I mean, Rally, I don't know what he was thinking. Even if he caught the Moon Queen there, Breaky, like, it looked like he was going bottom lane to hunt for the Moon Queen, right?
Yeah.
And then he ran into the Wretched Hag. Even if he caught the Moon Queen alone, he didn't have the damage it takes to actually kill her. So, I don't know what he was doing. I don't know what he was trying to accomplish. I don't know. That's a gamble that the gambler should not be taking.
The gambler, man. Gotta take this gamble sometimes.
Yeah, that's not a gamble, though. That was just a guarantee. You're doing out with nothing.
A very high risk.
I'm all about rolling the dice. You don't have to tell me that, but that's not how you make it work.
Torture gets bursted down by Wretched Hag right there. Kelfield is going to connect to Tempest, though. Deadwood's still nearby. Out of mana, however. Oh, Compel missing Tempest. That could be a big mistake right there. Demoralizing Roar going to be used. Still wants to maybe get the kill. Rally, though, he's going to now be locked down. And Rally's all of a sudden the one that needs to be careful. He's going to be eventually bursted down. And Bubbles just sits in the background. Nothing more he could have really done. Again, BLZN just falling apart at the seams. 2-3 minutes ago, this game was even, if anything. All of a sudden,
I think it was looking pretty strong. I was excited to see the Shieldbreaker come out from Nomad. He was ahead of the curve compared to Moon Queen. Now they're almost evened out. The team fights have been going in their favor, and in general, just really soaring far, far above the heads of BLZN. I don't know I don't know why Rally went back in there, though, at the same time. Again, like, that was another situation where the numbers were against him. Even if he landed that Son of the Tempest, he wasn't going to get the kill. It was still a situation that he just shouldn't be in.
I mean, just look at Moonqueen's farm. That really just explains the story, if anything. How she is now all of a sudden at 365 gold per minute. This is a Moonqueen that was struggling to hit 200 GPM in the laning phase and even shortly after that. But all of a sudden, it's 17.5 minutes in, has that GPM, has her Whispering Helm, has her Steam Boots, and she is now going to start farming up the jungle. She's level 11 on top of that. Scary, scary news indeed. So, LEFU making a big statement here. We'll see how much of that impact Nomad is going to ultimately be able to have in the end. So he is a level 11 with that said. Obviously he has a level 2 edge counter now. Not necessarily the biggest deal in the world, but still getting some good levels on his part. By the way, while we are in a little bit of a downtime here, I do want to give some shout-outs real quickly. Big shout out to, first off, the S2 staff that may be tuning in. You guys know who you are. Shout out to you guys tuning in. As well as Dog Kaiser specifically. He's got a party going on today for good reason. So he knows what I'm talking about as far as they do. So big shout out to Dog Kaiser. They're great. They greatly balance upon. So anyways, moving on with this game. We do have a Rotten Grasp going to connect right here on a Bubbles. In jumps to there with on the follow-up. Wretched Egg also going to follow it up. Bubbles will fall. Energy Field going to come down. Will it be enough though? Glacial down part to the side once again from Starzors. And Torture is going to end up getting exploded on. Beautiful play once again. Coming out for LEFU, and they did all of that without the Moonqueen while she continues to farm. It ain't over just yet. Nomad running in the Sandstorm, but the blink from Deadwood avoids Nomad. Going for the auto attacks on Engineer. Gets caught by the Rock Grasp in the last second. Engineer will end up falling. Nomad is still chasing this Deadwood. Portal Key in 4 seconds, 3 seconds, 2 seconds. Oh, the Shell Surf hits though. Kelpfield comes down, and look at Nomad's damage output. Actually, Sky Griffin on Bubbles will get credit for the kill right there. So, at least they eventually chased down him.
Still, it doesn't matter. They made all that happen without Moonqueen. They made the jump happen every time. Just given how under-resourced the rest of Nomad's team is, if they're getting the jump and he's not there, they're guaranteed to fall. Moonqueen there or not. And he's showing up late to the party, man, so he's not even there to be able to salvage, you know, the rune that they're wrecking. It's I feel like it kind of sucks because he has to farm. He has to keep farming. Yeah. He is that carry hero. But given the fact that they have this Deadwood that is now just able to run around the map and burst out pretty much anyone he wants, it's like going to be at a huge cost to his team.
Yeah, Porkchop was able to do it last game, come back for his team in that carry presence, but obviously a lot of things are different this game. I mean, from the heroes in general to just the team support around this Moonqueen and the game that she's having. You got a Wretched Hag who's definitely up there, Deadwood, a Tempest, pretty much everyone. Hell, look at Glacius, the freaking portal key on Glacius on top of everything. So that just speaks for itself right there once again. And kind of a comparison to last game, so if you are saying that, not to shatter your dreams by any means, but it is definitely a different circumstance here. So an uphill climb indeed coming out for BLZN here. In terms of already making a bit of a comeback 20.5 minutes into this game. We do see that level 3 Shieldbreaker is finished now for Nomad. So he is dealing out plenty of damage. Nobody's going to be doubting that. But
well, it's great, but now they need to actually make a team fight happen. He needs to be there from the start of it because he does have that snowball factor. He's still able to kill a lot of the heroes here in 3 or 4 hits on the Legion team if he gets going. They might make a mistake in positioning. He gets the snowball rolling, and you know, it could be an evened out game at that point, but he needs to be there from the start.
Yeah. Do you see the Hellborn team kind of setting up a little bit of a defense here? The middle tower taking some good damage. You got Deadwood off to the side with Glacius. Again, they both have portal keys, so they're ready to jump in when necessary. Moonqueen in the front line. You see the elusive strike going to come out there from Nomad and kind of scare off Moonqueen a little bit. But this tower is going to end up falling. Yes, it is. Deadwood jumps in. Oh, Engineer drops right off the bat. No energy field going to be coming out. He ain't buying back out of Bat Blast. Hits Bubbles. Moonqueen in the background with that Moon Finale. Doing plenty of damage. Nomad just running away with the Sandstorm Darude style. 2-for-0 exchange coming out right there. And now we have LEFU who's going to fall back and continue to push some more.
Yeah, I mean, they absolutely have nothing, Break. Yeah, nothing. I talked about it before. Yeah, he needs to be there, but given the fact that Deadwood can pretty much pick his target and kill them instantly, they're way out initiated. They pretty much have to sit there and wait for themselves to get initiated on every single fight. Yes, they have a Bubbles, but Bubbles does not have a portal key yet. And even so, it's not the same as a direct hard stun, like something that the Deadwood can apply with his Willowmaker. So at this point, they're just waiting to get picked off every single fight. They have to try to make something happen, but they don't have the tools to make it happen yet. Rally is getting closer to his portal key, however, and that could be the ticket.
Well, this is not going to help things. Nomad in a lot of trouble. It does have an edge counter. He does get it off right there. I don't think it's going to be enough, though. It only hit Tempest and no one else, and eventually falls shortly after. So the snowball is just continuing right now for LEFU, and that could even be the dagger, honestly, where you're like, okay, at least we have Nomad. He's up there. He's even competing with his Moon Queen still. And now that he's died right there, I mean, it already is showing. He's starting to drop off. He's not even top 3 in the game anymore when it comes to GPM. He's struggling to be 3rd place as Tempest and Moon Queen are ahead, and he's dead on, he's tied with Deadwood even, so.
Yeah, he hasn't really been able to accomplish much in this game at all. Had a decent time in lane, didn't like absolutely crush the Moon Queen lane. Didn't roam around with his team after he had that earlier Helm of the Black Legion. Sort of TP'd into fights late over and over and over again. Even so, he didn't have a mana item right away. Had the mana battery, just wasn't enough. It seemed like Legion team's done a great job just setting up these fights, getting the momentum going, taking out all of these outer towers now. And at this point, what can Nomad do?
Yeah. Not much, unfortunately, and you see another tower falling. That means all outer towers have now already been destroyed. Only 23.5 minutes into this game in favor of LEFU, the Legion team. So what is game number 3? This is it for obviously still single elimination at this point at the round of 64. Could be the end of the road for BLZN unless they get some strength out here in the near future. Nomad runs into Moon Queen, but Moon Queen, as farmed as she is, she actually activates her Geometer's Bane and then walks away. So nearing that 500 gold per minute mark. Obviously already having a huge impact. Rowley again! Deadwood, it's almost as if he just doesn't get it. It's not going to happen. He goes again for the combo himself, and Rowley just compels away.
Does he think he can cast it quicker?
I guess so.
I kind of want to tell him, because that was a point in time where I don't even think he was expecting the follow-up.
Oh, no, there was no follow-up. Wretched Hag was the closest, and what is Hag?
Yeah. You know, your mobilize is a wonderful job of stopping Rally from compelling. Just you gotta land it first, buddy.
Yeah. So
it could even be the kind of thing where he begins to cast it and then blinks and quickly punches, maybe hoping to catch him off guard. That might be a better chance than just trying to use it immediately after it, because it's just he's going to sit there clicking. Otherwise, it might be a little bit of a reaction.
Timing doesn't work. Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless I mean, if anything, maybe he's just simply hoping for a slight misplay by Rally, but. Rally's been pretty on top of, the Gambler has been on top of reacting to those, so hey, it doesn't hurt to try, I guess, especially when you are up nearly 20,000 golden experience at this point in the game especially. So Moon Queen, you talk about being baited right here. Just farming up the middle lane by herself, not really. Deadwood, Glacius, and Tempest were all right behind her with portal keys ready to blink in, and that's going to continue over here, it looks like. She's just going to keep going around in the front, trying to get BLZN to maybe bite on her, but that would be the wrong move. As you can see, his butt's being set up. In fact, here we go. Deadwood jumping into aggressive. There's a great rotten grasp. Hits Torture and the Falcon punch to follow. The Tempest Elemental Boy. The Moon Finale. The Glacial Downpour. And holy crap, the Hellborn team dies in a matter of seconds. At least the 3 that were there. A massacre indeed. Rally and Engineer, the only 2 alive. Buyback is up on Nomad and Bubbles. But it's... I guess they might not have.
Yeah, they're really outclassed. I mean, they tried to apply that aggressive tri-lane. I liked how they were shutting down Moon Queen. They did nothing really about the Tempest, though. Tempest was pretty much left to his own devices, was able to get his early farm. And in a game like this, has that portal key now. If he ultimately was to get shrunken ahead later on, only thing that could potentially cancel would have been a Nomad's ultimate, which is not something you can counter at all when you're looking to counter Tempest. So. Yeah, I do feel like, once again, I mentioned LEFU was just picking safer lineups, but they were picking overall, I think, safer and more effective teams in order to dominate this mid-game. And it's shown. I mean, Moon Queen did get stomped in early, but it kept cases of over-aggression. I hate to point out the Gambler here, and I don't know, maybe it seems like, oh, go pick him off, you can get him. I'm not sure what he was thinking with some of these scenarios, but I feel like those pickoffs has helped turn the game around for Moon Queen and put them in a case where, even though there was a little bit of an early advantage coming out for Team BLZN, they weren't able to actually capitalize on it.
Yeah, that moment on the failed gank attempt at the bottom lane that resulted in a turnaround.
Well, that immediately afterwards too, you had the Tempest ulti coming out top.
Yep, that's some big turnarounds there. So, what the hell? Engineer
just singing. She's like, you know what? Screw it. Might as well sing a song.
Always love those stop cancels. Moon Queen up to the top lane now. She's level 17 here. Obviously has a token alive. Oh, we got about to pause the game coming out here for the Hellborn team. So, gonna strap pause maybe. Gonna talk this one over, what they can actually do.
I don't know if we pointed this one out too, but this is one farmed up Glacius escape breaky. He
yeah,
actually has
the portal key.
It's something that, honestly, the game's been a little bit of snowball here for a while, and yeah, PK is up on Glacius. That is going to be very effective, obviously, in following up this Deadwood Initiate, and they have a lot of things to answer to, and you saw right there the devastation with the Tempest ultimate, what it's capable of putting out, but it could be anything. It could be anything at this point. It doesn't matter.
The scary thing is he's had that for a while now, and on top of that, the Bound Die, the Grave Locket, and obviously he's also been taking care of really all the wards. So it just goes to show you, I mean, the Glaciers right now 263 gold per minute. That's higher than 3 out of the 5 heroes here on the Hellborn side by quite a bit. So again, sitting in the pause here for the Hellborn team, especially in a case like this, it's a little silly. You think to yourself, but. Well, they are allowed to pause, obviously, so hopefully nothing too long in the end, as we are at 27 minutes into the game right now. Currently, Deadwood is getting very close to that shrunken head here, as well as far as other big item pickups. 1,600 gold on Moon Queen. She's obviously got her kind of just core really taken care of, the Geometer's Bane, Shrunken Head, and Whispering Helm. Anything from here is just for the luxury factor, especially in this game, so... Nomad working on that Shrunken Head, but still a ways off, unfortunately. Only has the Mighty Blade currently, so.
And as I talk about, it's the late game insurance too. It's not only the Moon Queen, it's Rocha Hag, who has the Hellfire now, ultimately building for a Shrunken Head of herself. And, well, it's a target that Nomad has a harder time chasing down, locking down too, thanks to her flash, so.
Yeah.
Not to mention, when you look at Nomad, the ultimate counter to him is usually Sheepstick or Hellflower. Disable him, his mobility is completely canceled at that point, and he is a very squishy target. Helm of the Black Legion doesn't really matter when you're facing up against all this AoE magic damage. No vestments to imagine on top of that.
Got a phone call there, so it looks like they are good to go, though. All right, so yeah, going to be coming to the pause here. Again, you see Moon Queen pushing that top lane. We'll see if the Legion team eventually joins her. It's just a matter of time now before LeFu starts actually breaking into the base here, or at least attempt to. So, what better time than now, especially with that token of life. It still has plenty of time left on it, I guess, so definitely not rushing anything. But when you have your positives, definitely take advantage of them. So they are going to try to roam here in the middle lane. Deadwood kind of walking around. Oh, Rock Grass will connect Engineer, actually. There's the follow-up, and the Falcon Punch just decimates Engineer. Nomad going to try to make a pay. He goes on top of him, but quickly running away. Realizing, the Elemental Void not going to be used right there. Comets just put down. The meteor just put down, Pat Blast in the background, and Bubbles will eventually fall. So it ends up being a 2-0. Tempest did even Shrunken Head right there. Okay.
Yeah, he's showcasing his new Shrunken Head. Elemental Void was not up yet. It did not matter. At that point, if you're Rotten Grass by Engineer and you're Engie, you either got to hope your rally is really, really, really going to be quick on that Compel to save you as Deadwood jumps in, or just activate the energy field because you know you're going down in one punch.
Yeah.
Rally save yourself.
Comes in with the Compel. Chain reactions on top. Moon Queen being locked down fairly well right here, but
the damage not nearly enough. She has the Token of Life still up.
Yeah.
They don't want to risk it. I mean, they can just pull back here, wait for the Elemental Void, wait for the Deadwood Punch, and then go back in. Sure.
Elemental Void is up in 4 seconds, so.
I think you guys hotfixed me, jerks.
Oh, silly you.
Oh,
okay.
Looks like Team BLZN is calling it
yeah.
for a good reason. The 30K down. They've got the Moon Queen farm. We know what happens.
Yeah, they realize it's okay. They try to have their fun there at the end, but it's not going to be. So, well, that means it is going to be official. We do have a case of LeFu. The great LeFu team moving on to the round of 32. So big congratulations to them. Definitely looking forward to seeing more of them and how they progress. We did have an awesome series here Wow, we did have an awesome series though here overall. And so with that said, a shout out to BLZN as well, and for the job that they did here, and I at least got us some entertainment. So, but the road does end here for them, at least for the DreamHack qualifiers.
Sure.
Hopefully they stick around though for future events, including the next Han Tour, obviously. So.
Right. Well, I mean that as you said, it wraps up the round of 64. From here on out, the matches are only going to get more and more and more interesting.
Yeah.
I talked about it earlier. When you look for validation of a lot of what new heroes or strats become viable, you looked at the top teams, and the top teams are what we are going to be approaching here in this following day.
Yeah. Yeah. That's that. again, it is fun at the same time. Casting matches like today, getting events kicked off. You got to start somewhere, of course, and if anything, just giving the opportunity to these teams that never really would get the opportunity in the first place. And as you said earlier, it definitely means a lot to them. So it's definitely our pleasure to be able to cast these guys and give them that opportunity. Hopefully, they had fun playing as well. But starting tomorrow, it is where we start to get more recognizable teams and teams that are considered at that more top tier echelon of the team. So, of course, we will be kicking off starting tomorrow with a round of 32 at the same time as today. So that will be 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 p.m. Eastern, 1800 Central European time. And again, that, of course, followed up by the round of 16. 3.5 hours later is when that's scheduled to take place. So, big day tomorrow once again to follow things up after a great start to this DreamHack Summer qualifying event here, Emperor. It's already a lot of fun. It's going to continue getting better and better, though, man. We got some great series ahead of us. I can guarantee that.
Well, yeah, not only for tomorrow, but throughout the week entirely too, Breaky. So
yeah, that's true. That's a good point, actually. So not only tomorrow, but then throughout the week, we got Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. We're also going to be coming back at you. Each of those days, I believe it's at 12:30 p.m. Pacific, 3:30 Eastern, 21:30 Central European time, and then the following Saturday and Sunday to then start wrapping things up. There is a full schedule on both the Honcast website, of both the broadcast section and the news. I believe there's a forum post on it as well, so there's definitely places to go in terms of looking forward to all that coverage on what's going to be happening. But, well, I mean, there's not too much else to go over today, though. We definitely had a good day as far as content goes. So, again, hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Emperor, any final words from yourself?
No final words from me, Breaky. As you guys can tell, I'm just actually, shout out to, once again, Panman, Count, all the S2 staff watching. You guys have actually been crushing it on production. I've been enjoying it watching even here on the preview monitor, laughing. So I'm loving all the additional content you guys are putting out. The quality of the stream looks amazing from my perspective. I hope you guys are enjoying it, and just looking forward to this next new chapter.
Yeah, and again, it's only going to get better from here. That's the big thing to keep stressing. It really is only going to get better, so hopefully you guys are enjoying that, and definitely continue to leave your feedback on the forums. We definitely have been looking at it, and again, hope that does show. So ladies and gentlemen, that is going to do it for today. We'll see you tomorrow, though, with the DreamHack Summer 2013 qualifier is going to be continuing with a round of 32. Have a good night, guys.